Hello everybody, peace. Today we're going to be talking about the safe people in our lives and how we can recognize them and how they can show up in ways that you would never imagine and have such a huge impact on our growth, on our healing, and the importance of being around these people.
From beautiful seas to flourishing legacies.
So what inspired this episode was something that I had been listening to, and it was about childhood trauma. It was about someone's relationship with their grandmother, and it got me thinking about my own grandmother. And I remember when I was young, I would go to my grandmother's every weekend and she would make this amazing tea. She would make this amazing toast, and I think it took her like an hour to make the whole thing, an hour to make toast in her way and also make the cup of tea. And I have never tasted anything so delicious ever since in my whole life, right? And the reason why this came to mind is because during that time that I was going to my grandma, there was a lot of fast things happening. There was a lot of things always on the go. There was a lot of people around me. There was a lot of difficulties in me regulating my emotions. Instead of expressing myself, I would repress them, I would suppress them. And I was always in a rush, right? I was always in a rush. I was always trying to see the next thing I could do and the next thing I could escape to, right? It was all about escaping for me. So when I went to my grandma, I remember I would ask for a cup of tea and toast. It would be every morning. I would stay with her, like I said, on the weekend, and she would take so long doing it. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, grandma takes so long doing everything. Like she takes so, and I was very young at the time, thinking she takes so long walking up the stairs. She takes so long coming down the stairs. She takes so long making the food. When she made a curry one time, she made the most amazing curry, but she took a really long time doing it. And all I could think of then in my little mind was, wow, this takes a really long time doing things. And I remember just not appreciating it at the time. So when I grew older, I got married and I was pregnant with my daughter, and I was nauseous all the time. And the only thing that I could drink was tea. And it was a special kind of tea. It was a kind of tea which reminded me of my grandma. And I never really put it together until later on in life. And then during this time, I was drinking more tea. I was feeling much more at ease, and I would feel much calm. And then a few years go by, actually, before I was pregnant. I don't want to confuse you with all the timelines, but the point is that I was sitting down one time, and there would be this alarm clock that would go on at my grandma's house, and it was the tune of "There Is No Sunshine." There is no sunshine. I can't remember the words, but it was only the tune of the song. And then "When There Is No Rain" or something like that. You could probably think of it, right? So anyway, I was sitting down, and this was many years after. And I remember hearing that song in the car. And this is a really old song. And I remember looking outside the window and just thinking, oh, that's the song on my grandma's alarm clock. I would hear it every morning when she'd wake up at Fajr. She would be reading the Quran in the way that she knew how, in that beautiful, sincere, shaky voice, right? And I would just be listening to that alarm clock, and I'm listening to the song in that, and I'm thinking, this is so random, right? A few days after, I found out that she had passed away. May Allah have mercy on her soul, Ameen. And it was painful. We grieved. We went through some reminiscent times as well. We were just thinking about everything. But one thing that never really hit me until honestly just a few days ago was how important it was to have someone like my grandma in my life. And the reason why is because when you are children, there are so many things that maybe you are going through, you have gone through, or your own children will be going through. And it could be a very painful time. It could be bullying at school. It could be a very toxic family environment. It could be relationships with people who are not good for you in the kind of, like, I'm talking about children in the familial sense. And it could be so many things. It could be bullying that no one knows about, but it's something that is extremely traumatic and painful for you. And sometimes we can grow up feeling like no one saw us, that we didn't have what we needed. And the reason why I thought it was important to make this video today is because sometimes the help that we need, we don't see it straight away. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us that reprieve and that ease in ways that we could never even imagine. And in this case, in my case, it was my grandma. The way that she gave me the ease was in her slow movement. And one thing that I fall into sometimes, and I try not to do this anymore, is hurrying. Hurrying is something that it ignites your body on a somatic level. It ignites your body to feel this anxiety, even though there might be no reason to do it. It's this feeling of like, okay, I'm hurrying, something's wrong. My nervous system is going out of whack and I'm feeling dysregulated and I'm not feeling very good and I need to get these things done. And it's a kind of response that a lot of women have. Some men also have it too, but it's the response of always being on the go. And guess what? This hustle culture is all about that. And there is this video that I did called Slow Rise, which talks all about slowing down. And for me at that time, what I needed was my grandma to be exactly how she was, to slow me down, because I was going 100 miles an hour in my head, always thinking, always doing. And at that time, what I needed was to slow down. And I really hope that we can maybe reflect on some of the things and some of the amazing, beautiful things that have happened in our life, the people around us, even if it is a pet that has brought you back to where you need to be when you're going through a difficult situation. And it's beautiful to hear that this happens with children and Allah gives it to children when they need it. There's always something that they might be lacking something, and there's always some way Allah gives it back to them. It's like this beautiful balance that just happens, this mercy and compassion that sometimes mothers are not able to give to their children for one reason or another, because of their own trauma, because of their own depression, because of so many other things as well. So this is not to blame parents at all, but it is just to say that even as an adult, there might be times where you feel like as if you are going through the worst kind of thing. But at that time, there could be that small time that you see someone just on a small minute, right? On a small minute. And that is exactly what you need at that time to live, to continue surviving. If you're in survival mode at that time, continue surviving, and then hopefully, God willing, as we heal, to thriving as well. So I really hope you found this episode beneficial. I just wanted to let you know there is a free downloadable of my book, The Woke Writer. It is the chapter on letting go. It is a free chapter as well. Have a beautiful and blessed day, everyone. Stay well, and always remember the small things around us are sometimes not so insignificant, and they are there for a reason, even if we can't see them straight away. Have a great day, everyone. Peace.